Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Loud Thumbs limited series. That's what we're calling it still. This is still the Halo television series, guys. So we're on to episode 4, which is called Homecoming. Unfortunately, it was not a Halo homecoming, at least not for this guy.
No.
I don't. It's not getting better, which is a shame.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, 2 was the low point. It has gotten better since 2, but I think this was like
lower than 2.
No, see, I don't think it was lower than 2. I think it was like just above 2. But that still means it's not getting better. That means episode 3 was still better than 4. So we're doing this up down thing, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I don't like it.
We got Cortana in 3, which was great.
Yeah.
But now she's there and she didn't do anything.
No.
Like she just kind of hung out with Chief and like
she popped up a couple times, but nothing important.
Anyway, we'll get into it. We'll kind of break the thing down a little bit here and keep it short because honestly, guys, I'm a huge Halo fan. Not super deep into the lore, but I love Halo. I mean, he's right there above my head back there. I mean, that's Master Chief. But it starts off with a flashback again, so they keep doing that, and then you get to see when he met Dr. Halsey for the first time.
Yes.
And you find out later, we might as well talk about it now together so it makes more sense, that, you know, he's starting to figure out now that he has took the inhibitor chip out and he can feel, and he starts to see these visions.
Which are actually memories.
There is memories that he's now putting together that he was taken from his family.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know that yet.
Right.
So they keep just hanging on too much. How do you feel about like where the show's going as a like non-player of the games?
I'm disappointed. Like, I wanted it to be really good because I really enjoy watching the games and following those when you play those. But for me, the story is, I feel like it's not going anywhere. We're kind of going in circles. Like, I understand you have to build a character, but why is it taking 4 episodes for anything to happen? And for a Halo TV series, the most action we've seen was in episode 1.
Yep, that's exactly right. Sad. I mean, disappointing is a good word for it. That's for sure. It's not a major disappointment yet. It has things going for it that are good, but it has not made me a person to go out and like push the show onto people.
Yeah.
In like a good way. It's going to be one of those like, you know what, if you're just kind of enjoying it or enjoying sci-fi and you've never seen Halo, you'll probably like this, you know. And it would be a probably, which is a problem, you know. So anyway, what happens is we see the flashback, they kind of flash forward then, and you see Chief and Cortana and the crew, Halsey and her little croony weirdo kissing clone guy, all on the ship together.
Mm-hmm.
And Cortana and Chief have a conversation about anxiety. Like he's feeling anxiety.
Yeah.
He's feeling anxious to go back to his home, and he's never felt that before. So, I mean, I'm kind of sick of the let's humanize Chief. I think it's over. Like, you know what? He didn't need to be humanized. No. And what I mean by that is you could grow the character,
mm-hmm.
but you don't need to humanize him to this level, because even the people that didn't play the game are going to watch it and just want to see him be a badass, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's saving these people. Like, he touched this thing and now he's going to save people because something's awakened inside of him, and keep that the only mystery. That's it.
Yeah.
But they're just going so far with this humanization
I
situation.
Feel like they're just digging too deep with it all. Like, they're making more out of it than there needs to be.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't need you to go back to his home planet to find these, whatever was buried, which was, he thought was a part of a piece, you know.
I don't know if they're making more of it than they need to be. I think they're just taking too long.
And maybe that's part of
which some people could probably, I mean, some of our listeners and anybody watching might say that, well, that means the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you can dig in super deep and do that in one episode.
Yeah.
But they're still doing that.
We're
4 episodes.
4.
Yeah. And you know, I would have been happy with just a mystery from episode 1, what has awakened in him, and then, keep the helmet on, keep the armor on, and let him start fighting Covenant in episode 2, and then let him lose to the Covenant, and then get back to Reach,
Mm-hmm.
and then them realize he's not powerful enough, he's not good enough. He
Yeah.
needs Cortana. They give him Cortana. Cortana beefs him to the point where now he can go in and take care of Covenant and, push forward through whatever this mystery thing is, and we get that wrapped up at the end. Who cares? And I'm a huge fan of Halo. Who cares about his family? That might sound terrible, but I don't need to know all of that.
No, I
because
agree.
he was pulled from his family in the books and everything, and a clone was thrown in his place. That's it. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Him as a human being born of 2 other human beings is what made him special in whatever way Halsey saw.
Mm-hmm.
So she needed that to save humanity. So that one thing awakens in him in the first episode, and then we just watch it grow. I could have wrote the show better. Like, I literally feel like, and I don't know all the lore. I know a lot of the lore. I haven't read all the books or done anything like that. But I feel like that's what catches Halo, and that is Halo. Like, Master Chief is Halo. Cortana is the other half of Halo. Those 2,
Mm-hmm.
you have nothing. You don't have Halo without those 2. They have to be together.
Yes.
If this was Chief and no Cortana, vice versa, same thing. But yeah, that I digress. That is my idea of what I think the show should have been doing up to this point. We should have just seen Chief kicking ass, and we should have seen him fail right now. And we should have known about Cortana. I think Cortana should have been around in the background on a chip or, something that Halsey was interacting with, that we still could have seen her as a character building too.
Right.
And then she gets embedded into Chief. After we've initialized Cortana, we know who she is. Now we know Chief.
Yeah.
Chief lost. Halsey's like, I have this AI. I have this great spirited soldier that the 2 of them together are going to they're Reese's cup, peanut butter and chocolate. So that's, I got to stop thinking like that, because like, as the show continues, I keep kind of looking at it and going like, man, I could have done this. Man, I could have done that.
The biggest thing for me is that it's a show called Halo, not a show called Master Chief.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he's a very, very integral part, like, of Halo.
He is Halo.
He is Halo, but like, I don't need to know more about him. Like, as a person who watches the games, I would like to know more about how the Halo rings came about. And,
exactly, right? And if we're
and how all of it got activated and how everything got destroyed. Like,
see, your idea and my idea need to be together.
Right.
And episode 4 would have ended with Chief losing, gaining Cortana, realizing he does need some sort of a help, and it would have ended with him going back into battle, and like the last 60 seconds of the episode would have been him like laying waste to a group of elites that he couldn't beat in the episode prior, right?
That would have been awesome.
And then your second half of the show is the culmination of, we learn about the Halo. There's still lots of fighting. We get into banshees and ghosts and warthogs, and we're killing grunts, and it's the game. We take Marines out with us, and we're playing through the game now.
We still haven't seen grunts.
We haven't seen grunts. We haven't seen.
They did mention them in this episode.
They mentioned them and how they're like they're really annoying when they're killed.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
But
anyway, that's just my hopes for the show, guys. This episode, I mean, it was okay. The reviews I don't agree with. This is like a 4 or 5 kind of score out of 10, and they're giving it like 7s and stuff. I just don't think the scores they're giving it are based off of just what they're watching. So there's something, they're digging deep on some of these that I've read, but that goes without saying or anything. We're not really scoring the episodes, doing this. We're just kind of chatting about them. But, when they get to the planet, and then a couple of things that kind of annoy me, like he drives up in a Warthog, Chief is driving, and he has Halsey with him, and then the scientist guy.
Yeah.
So they get in to the planet area, and As soon as Chief gets out of the fucking warthog, he takes his helmet off again.
Every time.
Like he has it on, and he looks badass, and it's like hell yeah. And then he gets out of the warthog and he takes his helmet off again.
Mhm.
What the hell do they keep doing
Or they
this
show
for?
you the weird.
No, we don't. We'll talk about that in a
Okay.
minute. Okay, but like seriously, like, what do you think the purpose of that is? Like every time he puts the helmet on, he looks awesome.
I
He does
know.
one thing, and
Yep,
then they take it off.
Take it off. Again, like you said, they're like very much trying to humanize him.
Do you think that, like at this point, do you need to see his face anymore?
No, put his helmet back on.
No, you don't.
No.
Like you just don't. How many
No.
scenes of Iron Man or how many scenes of Batman or whatever, like, are their helmets off or
Yeah.
their cowls off?
Very
They're
few.
not.
Very
They're
few.
on because that's them. Like in the moment, they're overlapping too much in it. Like they're making John take more precedence than Chief. I
Yeah.
don't care if people
Yeah.
think they're the same person. I'm saying like in the show, they're making them two different things.
They are very much.
I don't like that.
Because I'll be honest, I don't feel like John is as badass as Chief.
No, he's not. He's not. Like he's so more grounded and like
Yeah.
he's a thinker
So
and
then
Chief's
that
sort of the
has me
actor.
thinking like what's gonna happen when he gets into battle and he is Chief again.
I know.
Like,
We haven't seen anyone fight in
No.
4 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So talk about a movie. Like if this were a movie, you'd be like, okay, I'm done. I'm leaving.
Yep, I'm out.
So so anyway, they do this whole thing and they go to his childhood house. They dig up this thing that was talked about in episode 3.
Mhm.
Turns out it's like some sort of a trunk. It looks kind of like a Yeti cooler.
Yeah. Like a white
Eh,
Yeti.
And it just has like drawings that he did in it, and it has the ring, like a circle ring that he drew. Pretty much all the stuff we already saw,
Yeah.
which was sort of wasted time on the screen, you know,
Yep.
because we already saw it in
Yep.
episode 3. And then they go into the house and he tells Cortana that he wants to be able to see, you know, what it used to look like or whatever. She has not enough data, right? She says,
Yeah.
I don't have enough data. I can't do it. But I can do pieces of it, but I have to do it through your visor. And I was like, yes, put your helmet on. Yes. So he puts his helmet on
Yeah.
and then they do the thing through the visor.
Yep.
Okay. Now, just not speaking of the other part that we'll talk about in a minute, because
Okay.
I think you and I both know how you feel about it, because I was speaking out loud watching the show with her. What did you think about this just whole part of the scene with them like introducing his memories as these like visions that Cortana can project? And
So like the tech side of it, I thought was really cool. Like it was cool how she could do that and she could show him through his visor like how things used to look. Like that could come in handy. You know what I mean? In battle.
yeah, it
but-
could.
But we're not in battle yet. That's where I want to be.
I didn't like it. I thought it was stupid. Like I didn't think it was needed because they did it in the beginning for 2 minutes. That Cortana was doing
Mhm.
this whole thing, and then he just starts having visions on his own, and then we start seeing his visions, and Halsey asks Cortana, like, "Are you still projecting this?" She's like, "I'm not projecting anything. These are all on his own." So that whole time, like,
yeah, like
literally it did the whole thing where it was like, oh, here's a holographic
Mhm.
vision of everything you can see, and oh wait, that table wasn't there, it was supposed to be here, and then that thing moves the table over, you know, like Cortana redirects it over, and then after that you weren't really even seeing it, you know, there were pieces that they would pop in and you could see with in the middle, and then the visor was still around the outside. Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I was annoyed with it.
Mhm.
With just the digitizing part of it that was supposed to allow them all to see what he's seeing or something, but then they couldn't see what he was seeing because it was only through his
Yeah.
visor.
Yeah.
So it was just him walking around looking at stuff. No words. No word. He wasn't talking.
Nope.
We were looking at what he was seeing with other people. If you count Cortana, there'd be 3 of them just watching him walk around. No words. Like
Yeah.
it just didn't make sense. Like, you know, what are they supposed to think that he's seeing? Because he's not talking about any of it.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't say anything about what he was seeing or what was going on in his visor. You just saw his like hands moving.
Yeah.
And that was weird.
Yeah. And then in this scene, this is a part Heather was alluding to earlier. they did one thing right. Okay. And we'll talk about that last. But the things that they did wrong were they show you inside his helmet, okay? But they show like the camera's like on his ear and it's like pointing across his nose on the right side of his face. So you can see kind of out of his visor, but you can only see what's in the visor with like the little thing that's down here in the corner that you'll see on our YouTube. You know, you can see like the HUD and the map and things like that are down there, his radar. And then you see a little bit out the visor, but you can't see what he sees. Which is silly for a viewer. You just see him and an eyeball that's moving around and blinking and a little bit of his mouth and just like this profile of his face in a way. And it was just awful. Like I hated it. I hated it. I could not believe how much I hated it. And first, before we go to the other stuff, what did you think of that camera angle and the purpose of it? Like, did it do anything for you?
No, it was very unnecessary. Like, why do I need to see the corner of his eye as he's looking through his visor? Like,
yeah,
I couldn't see anything but like the side of his eye. It did nothing for me. It didn't give me any information, or it was pointless.
Yeah,
I'm sure it was like an artistic camera choice, but no.
I'll tell you what I think it was. Okay. And it's because they did do one camera angle, and I think they did it twice. It wasn't really an angle. It was more like an effect. Just like Iron Man, they show him face dead on in the suit, like you're looking inside of his helmet. Mm-hmm. That was done great. That could be done way more often, and I would have cared two shits about it. But don't do it all the time. Like, just pop in, let us see what he's reacting like inside there, so then we all have an idea of how he's emoting and what he feels like. And there's no guesswork for any of the audience that doesn't know Master Chief, which is pretty much all of us now, because none of us really know this Master Chief. And that's fine. But they cut to that like twice, and in between it, they broke it by doing the one off the side of his head again. And I was like, that camera angle is good. And then the next camera angle is the other one again. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, and then they pulled back again and just showed him just looking back. And he looks so badass. He looks so cool. And it drives me nuts because they're not leaning into the how awesome his armor looks. And they've made him look spot on.
They obviously spent a lot of time on his armor and making him look like Master Chief does in the games. But we don't even get to see him like that.
Nope. Like walking around not gingerly.
Even in his suit. Like most of the time it's neck up.
This is the first time he's been in full armor in 2 episodes.
Yeah.
2 episodes. Since episode 1, this is the first time he's been in full armor.
And it lasted for like 30 seconds.
I mean, it was like a 5 or 6, 7 minute thing because they kept cutting away. They kept cutting to other parts of the show and then pop back. But, you know, it was just him walking around. Like, he didn't even pull a pistol at any point. He didn't have to do anything cool. None of it. Like, it was just him walking around. And I was upset about it. Like, it was just like, there's so much potential, and I'm starting to see the wasted potential now. Like, it's there, it exists.
Yeah.
And like, I give everything 3 episodes. I may have mentioned that on stuff before on the podcast and everything, but 3 episodes, I'm good. And I'm on 4. And I'm sticking with this one because it's Halo. Like, that's, you know, if it was Back to the Future, I'd keep sticking with it too. But that's just because it's a favorite thing of mine and I want it to succeed. So anyway, I'll get more into that later. But then we do see some more with Kai, the other Spartan. Mm-hmm. So they do some cutting there. And we're probably going to talk about this out of order, guys. We watched it yesterday. We forgot. We have kids. That just happens. But what did you think about this? Because she takes her sensory perceptor deal out, just like Chief, because she saw Chief do it in episode 3. So now she knows what to do. So she did it herself.
Yeah.
Takes it out. She messes with her hair a little bit. You take the rest. Let me know what you think.
It was weird.
Weird? Okay.
Yeah. Like, why? I just don't understand why we're going the direction we're going. Like, if this is Halo, why are we worried about Spartans taking their inhibitors out? Yeah. What is going on with the show? Like, what are people doing? I just felt like that was very unnecessary. I didn't need that.
It doesn't kind of feel like they're trying to give everything this like deeper meaning that it doesn't need.
And it does not need it. It's a video game story. That's what we're telling, is a story about a video game. So let's do what they do in the video game and shoot some bad guys. Like, I feel like it's becoming more drama, not action adventure.
Yeah. It's like Tony Stark became Iron Man because bad things happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
Bad things have happened to Master Chief.
But we also found out those bad things that happened to Iron Man and knew where the story was going within about 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly my point. Like that, we didn't need to know more than that. Like
Right.
bad things, the first 45 minutes of the movie was just seeing all of the, him go from awesome to I'm going to die to I'm not going to let this happen to anybody else. And that was it. And you can do it. Like you can do it. And then you can put them in a suit and they can be badass for what? 80% of the rest of their career.
Of the rest of the 10 movies he was in.
Exactly. And it could be CG and still look good and everything. But there was no deeper meaning to that.
No.
It was one thing. Yeah. And that one thing that could be the deeper meaning for Halo could have been, what is the mystery? What is the artifact? Why did it make Chief become what he's acting like?
Right.
That could have been the only thing we needed to know. And we could have just rode on. I could have just grabbed the train and just ride, just let's go.
Yep.
Put a DMR in his hands and let's go. Like just come on. But they're just not doing that. And it's not tripping my trigger. They have got to turn the action up. That's for sure. Because this was just another, I've been calling them this whole limited series. It's just a driver episode. It's just driving something forward again. And honestly, guys, it's driving with the parking brake on because it is slow. Like turn that shit off.
Driving long distance.
This one falls asleep during it. So just completely being crystal clear, transparent. Like I'll look over, she's asleep. I gotta wake her up. That's not good, guys. It's not good. That's just, nope. It's not because she's been beat up all day long or anything like that she's tired. It's just that it's not keeping your interest.
No.
We can watch Marvels and DCs and over and over
and realize it's 2:30 in the morning. We're like, oh, and we gotta go to bed.
Oh,
we have to get up in 4 hours.
We're still awake for a movie we've seen 100 times. Yeah. So that's just, it doesn't have something going for it right now that we need as a couple. We need more.
We need more action.
And I feel like the world needs more for sure. They've picked this up for a season 2. Hopefully it kicks ass. They do something by the end of season 1.
Announce season 2
before season 1 was even out. Oh. So yeah, we're just got to be patient.
So
we'll be back with another limited series for that one too.
Maybe
I'll do it alone, I guess.
You might lose me in 2 more episodes.
Maybe. We got 4 to go or 5 to go.
Oh my gosh, there's 5 more.
It's a 9 episode series. Yeah.
So we're halfway through.
It's at halfway. It needs, now it's the arc, right? It should be at the pinnacle.
It better be.
So now it just needs to go up from there. You can't go down now. You've hit the point of the top. You can't go back down now. You got to go back up.
They better.
Or keep going up.
So the next episode's going to be a big deal.
But it's been going down for 2-3 episodes, so it's got to go up at some point, right? So then we talked about Kai a little bit. Now she dyes her hair and she's acting weird.
Yeah.
And there's this whole scene with Keyes, Miranda, the daughter. Mm-hmm. She is doing her
Spartan testing
census on the artifact. What's it do? What's it meaning or whatever? And she has all the Spartans, mm-hmm. try to turn it on and they can't, while she's trying to she's reading it. She's doing all techie things, see what's going on with it. Didn't do anything for me. There's a moment where they had a conversation where you find out that Vanak is a total badass, where they're talking about how each of them had a pet with Halsey.
Yeah.
And if you didn't lose your battles, then you got to keep your pet.
Mm-hmm.
But if you lost, then you had to kill it. And Halsey had them all do this, and Vanak never lost. And Miranda's like, "Oh, cool, yeah. So what'd you do with your pig?" And it was a pig. I don't remember the name. Sorry, guys. But he was like, Halsey made me kill it. Yep. Because a Spartan can't be attached to anything.
I know. So why are we going through this?
There you got it.
What are we doing?
Exactly. So, and then there's, just to relate to that, there's another scene that happens where Miranda is talking to Kai and says that she can tell something's off. And then she starts talking about how Halsey has like made Spartans in her own image, and she wants them to be like perfect and doesn't want them to waver. And basically like she's going to take them out, like she's going to fix the glitch or whatever the case was.
Yeah.
You know, I don't remember the exact words she used, but it was like way at the end of the episode. It's like very last bit of it. So it's almost like they're trying to turn Halsey into a bad guy now. Like they make you like her, and now they're like kind of making you wonder what she's done because of stealing Chief.
Now, see, I always kind of felt like they were trying to make her out to be a bad guy.
No, not from the beginning, really.
Yeah, because of oh my gosh,
when she
can't remember her name.
Which one? The Admiral?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just call her the Admiral because I don't remember
like,
her name either.
They have questioned Halsey's motives, like told her you're not supposed to flash clone a human. And like she did it anyway.
Yeah, but I don't mean
like,
to them. I mean to the Spartans.
Oh,
like
okay.
she's
okay. No,
they're making the Spartans somehow like Miranda's
like
telling
she's
all these
bad.
things.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because now they got Kai who can feel.
Yeah.
And they have Chief that can feel, or John, and they have 2 more to go, and all 4 of them will somehow know that Halsey's just lied to him this whole time. You know what I mean? Like
that would be stupid.
And that's where I think they're going with it. It's what's going to drive me nuts. It's like, okay, Spartans can feel and make their own decisions, and I feel like that's the case. And none of these inhibitor chips or anything existed in the games. They were just, you know, Chief made his decisions based off of him and Cortana.
Right.
So this all still feels origin story style, and it feels like I think this one of 2 things is going to happen. I think either what I just said, they're all going to like turn on Halsey, and you know they're all going to feel and have these news whatever, or this is going to happen. The same thing's going to happen, except they're not going to turn on her as much. They're going to understand because they're feeling about everything. And listen, hold on. Okay. And it's going to end with Halsey realizing she made a mistake by doing that. And this is the best version of a Spartan because they are able to make their own decisions. And the fact that Cortana's there with Chief is the best symbiotic way to make a Spartan, and not to just cut them off from the world.
Well, why do I have to go up Mount Everest to get there?
I hear you. I'm with you.
Also,
I want these things to happen.
I want Cortana to be fully in. Like she's still blocked out of Chief. Like she's not fully integrated. Good point. That's the word.
That could be something we're going to see. I think, you know, like this season has to end with Chief and Cortana completely on the same page. It has to.
Oh yeah.
Because otherwise
fighting bad guys.
Yep. Otherwise, and I swear to God,
I'm not watching season 2.
I swear to God, if the next episode there is not some sort of fighting of some kind between elites and Spartans, spoiler alert for episode 5, guys, I am going to be on a hate train until they turn this train around, because I'm going to go right at it.
Yeah.
Because I am so annoyed right now. Like I'm not upset yet.
Yeah, no.
You know,
I'm annoyed.
Yes.
But I'm starting to get to the point where I'm like, I'll be honest. Like I remember, oh yeah, you know, there'll be a new Halo episode this week. And then I totally forget. And you're like, oh yeah, we watch Halo tonight. And I'm like, oh yeah, that came out today. Like I'm not excited to like go watch it like I was after the first episode. Yeah.
No, I'm with you 100%. My expectations are really, really low now, which is not good.
No,
they were okay in the beginning. Like when the first one came out, and my expectations were pretty up there because I'm like, yes, you know, they did it. Chief's great. You know, the whole taking the helmet off wasn't a big deal. He put it back on at one point, and we started doing other stuff, and then it just stayed off.
And then we just got lost in the swamp.
Yeah, it's not super great right now. Another not great part is just Quan. Like this Quan and Soul. What is Soul? I forget his name.
Madrigal. Oh yeah.
The guy. I don't even remember. Spartan 066. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
But that's just how much I don't care about those 2 characters. Like I can remember Quan's name because it's kind of unique. But I'm just over that part of it. Like she goes back to her planet, city, whatever the case may be, and she's trying to like get them to like
get the
follow her now
to continue.
Yeah, she's like Luke Skywalker or Leia is the way they're playing her off to be. Like she's gonna like build this.
At it.
No, she's not good at it at all. But yeah, they're trying to make like some sort of a revolution, and the revolution's been shut down, and she's trying to now like bring it back because it's what her dad would have wanted her to do, and she's like honoring his memory and everything. But it's just I'm just kind of I'm kind of done with that whole setup. I don't want to see it anymore. Really, I'm just over it a lot. Like because it's doing nothing for story. I don't know if it's going to culminate into something that's going to be amazing. It really doesn't feel like it. It really feels like it's just going to fizzle, whatever that case is that they do there. I'm really leaning into thinking that it's going to end up being kind of like episode 1 for Star Wars, that she's going to be like, somehow she's going to come in and be like, woo, and like blow something up like Anakin did and save the whole galaxy or something. Lord. And it really feels like something dumb like that's going to happen. And then they're gonna be like, she's make great Spartan material.
She's awesome.
And then they make her a Spartan, for season 2. It's just something is just, it's all got me off like right now. I just not on board with the show. I didn't think I was going to get here. I did not see this show going so heavy into this background and taking forever to establish, in air quotes, Sheev.
Episode 1 was awesome. Like we got character development a little bit. We got action, but now we're just like down this rabbit hole of talk.
Yeah.
And not enough shooting.
There were none. There was none. It was the freaking this Vishnu guy, which they've only mentioned his name like twice in the whole thing, who's the UNSC like
seeing everybody's butts.
Yeah, they do show asses. They showed his ass too, guys. You got to see the top part of a butt crack of Kai. So if you want to see a chick butt crack about 2 inches, you can see that. But yeah, what is it? Like
what? Yeah.
You know what? Put it on HBO and just do it right. You know what I mean? Like this Paramount Plus. Yeah, Game of Thrones style. Do something. You know what I mean? Because it's just either do it or don't do it. Like they're not leaning into it. They're just doing random shit when it comes to that. But yeah, I'm tired of seeing. I don't want to see any more asses, guys.
Me either.
Or any clone kissing or any of that kind of stuff. I want to see what's in the games at this point, because I feel like me being as big of a fan as I am, and you being a fan of the shows and watching, or the games and watching them as a show, I think we deserve better. Let's put it that way at this point.
Very much.
It's that simple. I don't even want to talk like major details on this episode because it just kind of all annoyed me.
Yep.
The last thing I'll mention, I guess, would be the WTF moment where Chief jumps down the hole that he envisioned as a kid jumping down, and he gets down there and he like sees this like looks like an antenna or something, you know what I mean? It's like metal, but it was like covered in like rock, and it had been like in like a construction zone area. And he just kind of walks up to it with Halsey following him down there, and then they don't really show anything that happens.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, okay, cool. He's got his helmet on. He's got his armor on. Hell yeah, he looks badass. That's what I'm talking about. And then he just jumps down a hole and walks over to a thing, It's like, come on, guys. Like, you're wasting a lot of opportunity right now. 100%.
A lot of potential.
Yeah, potential gone. And his name is Soren. I said Soren. Said Soul. I had to look that up while we were talking.
You knew it was an S.
Yeah, I was close, right? I got the number right. 066.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's sad. So far it's sad now. Episode 1 I could watch over and over and over, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. Be like, yeah.
This is so cool. And I can't wait to see where it goes.
Yes. And then I could forget it all existed. And all of us fans could come together and make a better show. And I'm not holding it against the writers or anybody. They are doing what they think they need to do. But honestly, man, if you want to make a success out of this thing, you got to write this ship hurt real quick.
Yeah, real quick.
And I'll tell you another thing that really confuses me is I remember reading and listening to a lot of people who got to watch episodes 1 and 2 together. And they were like, episode 1, it was good. It was good. After episode 2 was over, I was hooked. That makes no sense. By the way, no sense at all, because episode 2 is still the worst episode. And I know there's hot takes out there from other people that's their favorite episode. I'm like, I don't get that. We can discuss why that might be. Anybody listening to these and watching, possibly, I would love to know. The both of us would love to know your favorite episode, and is episode 2 your favorite, and why? Because no, like, I don't understand if you're a Halo fan, how episode 1 is not your number 1.
Yeah, how it's not your favorite like episode to watch.
Yeah.
Also, we didn't see any of McKee.
This is true. We didn't mention
There's
her.
no bad guys in this episode at all.
Well, the Vishner guy.
Okay, I'm alien bad guys.
Yeah, she's technically human. We can keep splitting hairs here. You know what I mean? No Covenant.
Okay,
Let's
no
say
Covenant.
Covenant.
No Covenant.
Because she is technically Covenant, as far as I would say. She's human Covenant,
yes.
Which is odd. But yeah, there's.
So I don't know what they're doing right now.
No, there wasn't, like, and I couldn't believe the episode was over. By the way, the episode ended, and I was like, was it seriously an hour? And I don't know the runtime. I didn't pay attention to that, guys, but it did not have enough. Like, I was thinking, like, okay, we're going to have some action scene. Chief's going to like take off in the Warthog, and something crazy is going to happen after he's down in this cave thing or whatever. And no, it was Miranda having a conversation with Kai about how Halsey is the whole.
Yeah.
She's
created him in her image.
And like, if it's glitching, she's going to fix the glitch. I swear that's what she said.
And that was the end of the episode.
Yep. And that was where the episode ended, with Chief and Halsey and the weird scientist guy driving in the Warthog.
That did not sound like a Warthog.
It didn't sound like a Warthog. Man, did it look like one, but it did not sound like one. And how can you screw that up, by the way? How can you screw up sounds? How can you do it?
Especially when everything else has sounded great.
Well, the sounds
like
exist.
The energy sword and
the sounds exist already. How can you screw them up? Why remake them? Why? I don't understand that. It confuses the piss out of me. But
I don't know.
All right. Well, I think we're done. That was it. Not a good one. Not a good. We're kind of lumping these all together. Like, talking about them, they're kind of going to keep stacking, I think. So that's just how we look at movies and games and entertainment, television shows, everything. We just kind of put them all together. It's got to do something.
And fast.
Because I kind of feel like we started with Thor: Dark World for the MCU right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's bad.
Like, it's bad. It's bad.
It's real
like
bad.
We have Thor: The Dark World. Where's all the good shit? Well, you're gonna have to wait 4 more movies. You know what I mean? Like, that's okay. All right. Endgame's here. I'm happy. I'll deal with Thor: Dark World
it's
existing.
Like, we've watched Dark World for 3 episodes.
It is, guys. It is. I mean, 1.5, because Thor: Dark World's like 2 hours and 10 minutes long or something. But still, think of it that way. Maybe there's our hope. That's our hope right there. You know what? Marvel even has misses, guys. And we're huge Marvel fans. There's Iron Man right behind me if you're watching on YouTube. He's my boy. But, they have misses.
They're few and far between, though.
They
are not consecutive.
Out of over 20 movies, they only have a couple, and they're not back to back. Yes, that is true.
And I could still watch them and get some sort of enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, exactly. One thing Halo needs more of, guys, because I know people that are at Paramount Plus and over at Xbox are listening right now, that is humor. Put a little bit of humor in it. Give us a grunt every episode. Yeah. Come on, some humor be great. And yes, everything is too damn serious.
Yeah.
It is too serious. And I'll tell you what, I love playing Halo and screwing around with Marines on my Warthog and listening to them say dumb shit. They'd be like, it's like we're in Star Wars. Pew, 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 pew. You know what I mean? Like, it was that kind of stuff all the time. Be like, holy hell, Chief, that was a badass jump. You know, like, they would do stuff like that. And you don't hear anything off. There's no banter.
There's no banter at all. It is seriously like
stiff as boards type stuff happening right now. It's not good.
We can't have any sort of happiness. Everything is just so serious and so slow.
I know I keep talking negative stuff. The one other thing, though, that they have got to quit doing. Seriously, though, they bounce around too much. And like, there's a lot of shows out there that will, like, one episode will focus on a group of these people, and then the next episode you'll never see them again until 2 more episodes, and then the next one. So they could do that and it would be better than this constant bouncing around of what's happening. This one was the least bouncy, at least, because it was literally just like the whole thing with Kai and the Spartans.
Yeah.
And then it was the thing with Chief and Halsey. And then it was the thing with Quan and Soren.
Yeah.
Those three things were happening that had little things happening inside of them. But I feel like they should have just centered everything around Chief and just followed him
and been done.
Follow him. And then when he gets to wherever he needs with those people, that story then can play out. We don't need to see all of it at the same time.
Yeah, no.
All right. Well, that's it. We will get out of here for this one, and we'll be back again next week with another one of these. And we'll see what time we put these out, having some fun when it comes to editing these and timing and whatnot. But hopefully you're enjoying them. We're still having fun making them.
Yeah.
I mean, this was more fun than watching the episode this time. Guys.
It was.
So not great news, but it's fun making the show.
Yeah.
And we can do better for sure. Make sure to go over there and visit loudthumbs.com. All the stuff that we have over there, we'll be doing some updates on that soon, I think. Got to make some time for it, but we are enjoying some limited series podcasts. Hopefully you guys are as well. And until next time, stay loud.